this week we have a very special guest in the shape of Dappy from N-Dubs. I mean, oh no, wait, it's not. It's Sister Beard.
You know what? We actually did come up with the idea. Me and Scott.
You came up with BeardMeatsFood?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
What? Clip it, George. Clip it.
And we're having a proper wrestle one day, and I end up bending his thumb back. I like sits him down on the sofa, right, and think, oh, like, are you all right? He's like, yeah, no, I just feel a bit unwell. So Mum's upstairs, like cleaning or something. So I run to the bottom of the stairs, and I'm like, Mum, Adam's not feeling well. Next minute, there's this almighty crash. He's fainted head first off the sofa and just toppled into the radiator. And you were on the golf course and someone started on you and you threw a punch and dislocated your shoulder.
This is exactly how we wanted this podcast to go.
Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Josh.
And welcome back to the Breaking Bread podcast, where this week we have a very special guest in the shape of Dappy from N-Dubs. I mean, oh no, wait, it's not. It's Sister Beard. But although people call me chauvinist for just using the word beard and then putting like sister or Mrs. in front of it, it's supposed to be a bit of a joke. Her real name is Jenna, which you might know if you've seen the music video we did this year. How are you doing, mate?
Hello, I'm good, thank you. How are you two?
It feels a bit awkwardly formal, doesn't it?
That was very formal, that.
This wasn't my idea, by the way. I dread to think what is going to occur and what stories Jen might tell on this podcast, but we're happy to have you on. Happy for any guest, really. It's about our level, really. I mean,
First guest of 2023 as well. This guy, what a fucking prick.
He's a knobhead, isn't he?
He's a proper prick. Let's get it out there right now.
Drop a lot of knobhead bombs.
Yeah. That, at the end of the behind the scenes video, it's like, knobhead.
You're a knobhead.
You are a knobhead.
And I brought coffees.
You did, yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. I've
Thank
drank,
you so
I've drank
much.
like almost all of mine so far.
Gone immediately. Well, in tradition, we'll start with a YouTube comment and then we'll get into the thick of it.
It's time for a YouTube comment from you.
Okay, so we're going to start with a comment from one of our podcasts. This is just from user and just a bunch of code, basically. So it's a burner account. It's Mike. Sorry, Mike. One of us must have said in the podcast that it was wank. So then he put, "You're right, it was wank."
That sounds like
it?
That's it.
And he didn't even have
What
he or
comment?
she did not even have the balls to do that from a real account. They probably created a new YouTube account just to make that comment.
I know.
Although I said it was wank, so you're just agreeing with me, really.
And we outright called Stephen Bartlett out publicly on his last episode. So
It's probably him.
yeah, Stephen Bartlett's getting pissed off. Dragon's Den
We've got
dickhead.
some
man.
nicer comments.
Don't like, conflate me with your point of view. Stephen Bartlett seems like a decent
I'm
guy.
single-handedly going to try and ruin his career. That's my only job in life now.
His thing is he just wants to create some beef with like real successful podcasts so we can so we kind of ride the coattails, I guess.
So was this one a comment from the Christmas episode?
Yeah.
The Christmas podcast?
Oh, do you think it was shit and all?
I actually did watch that one because I don't often...
you don't. You can say it, you don't watch
I'm
it.
joking. I did watch that one and you were particularly aggy.
He
that
was, wasn't
day.
he?
So aggy.
Like I was struggling. Like I struggled to drag him through that
I
episode.
know.
It's
You
gonna be
did
long,
such a
this
good job.
episode. It's gonna be a
Although
long
you did
episode.
gradually get like more pissed as the episode went on that mood.
I know people got angry because apparently I spoke about curdled semen.
Every time, man.
Yeah, I did see that comment as well.
We apologise again.
I don't apologise. Look at his face.
Right.
Any more comments, George?
We've picked some nicer comments
Okay.
from the I Got Cheesecake music video.
the classic.
You know, I just wanted to call it cheesecake, but then like I messed up the first upload and it wouldn't let me put up another upload of the same name. So then I thought I could call it cheesecake with a Z, but that seems a bit corny. So I called it I Got Cheesecake, which doesn't really make grammatical sense, but
And that has caused havoc. Has anybody asked Alexa to play it? Because if you say play I Got Cheesecake, it literally comes up with the most random stuff and it is so frustrating.
Added cheesecake to your shopping list.
whatever. I didn't really think about that at the time.
Go on then, George, what we got?
So his first comment is from Video Games Music Me. This has no business going this hard. Such a silly song, but such a good tune. I love Cheesecake. This will be replayed and shared for sure.
Oh,
yeah,
thanks.
it was a banger, you know. It was a banger.
It's the best one yet.
I mean, I feel like I can't take 100% credit for that because it was nicked from another band and then parodied. But yeah, I think we did a good job of it. I think it came out better than I thought it would. Put it that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was expecting it to be
Terrible.
not as look as polished as it did by the end. But I suppose that was down to
Oh, you mean the video? We were
everything
talking
about
just
it
about
and
the song, really. But
the song, and
The song
Matt
was super
helping with that.
polished. Like the song was.
well, that's what happens when you
epic.
go to an actual recording
Yeah.
studio and a professional does it for you. Yeah. Well, after that, we've got a friend for life now in Matty O'Grady.
Yeah.
Got another comment from the Cody Lee 6698. Love it, man. Took it to another level with this one. Means the world that you also did it for a purpose. Wouldn't be surprised if your sis got a record deal from this. She can sing, lol.
There were so many comments, right? That were like, "Wow, Sister Beard can really sing." I'm like, "What am I, chopped liver? What like?" I can't. But yeah, it was good. Thank you for the comment, Cody Lee.
Cody Lee.
I don't know why I broed him. He's a wrestler, isn't he? Or,
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Cody. Appreciate that very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we got this final comment, which probably wasn't intended to sound as weird as it is. This is from Per Christian. That was funny and amazing. Love the love you have with your sister.
Love the love.
That's indicative of
Love
your
the
state of mind, George. Perfectly familial love, nothing wrong with that. As long as you're not Joseph Fritzl, in that case, you know, maybe.
Although there's that one shot in the video where it kind of looked a bit weird, where you're chewing on that Snickers.
Everybody's commented on that, honestly.
I didn't see a comment. I didn't see a comment about that.
There was a bit in the behind the scenes where you're like seductively eating cheesecake, looking right in Adam's eyes, and you're like, "Stop it! Stop looking
Are you
at
talking
me."
about the shot with Blewett when we were in the gym?
Yeah.
Because that actually took us a few. You're in the gym and you can't really tell, but I'm like, I've got a fishing rod dangling a Snickers bar off it, which is supposed to be a bit of a gag, but it's so dark it's hard to get that.
No,
shot.
it was the other shot. It was where Jenna's bent.
Yeah, but like, what I was trying to set the scene, mate.
Oh,
Yeah?
sorry, go on.
So that is the shot first, right?
Yeah.
And then it goes into Jen kind of coming off the treadmill, and then I've got the Snickers and I'm buying it laughing, right? But because of the way it was framed, yeah, I'm like, even though I'm like 10 feet behind her,
I know what you mean.
it looks like a bit of a. And Josh Blewett, who was filming it. It took him 10 minutes to compose himself because he kept looking at it thinking we can't shoot this, like we need to.
We only had one Snickers, we had one shot.
Yeah, that was a high pressure. That's where I proved my acting credentials
Yeah,
there.
you did.
One shot.
Well, I suppose this is a good place to start. Let's talk about this the song. The song. How was it to work with Adam professionally? Is it as bad as I know it is?
You know what? I was a bit nervous because I thought there's a lot of pressure here, and if I mess it up, he's going to get frustrated. So I had a lot of pressure. I mean, Adam, how nervous were I going down to that studio?
You were really nervous, but I think actually I did quite a good job of saying.
Yeah, you did.
For me, there was no pressure. I knew you were going to feel pressure because it's an uncomfortable environment for you because you're not like, for a start, I knew you were nervous about the whole project because it sounds a bit wanky. The whole doing it, because I asked you pretty last minute because I didn't think you'd want to do it because you had always kind of like comedically said the last 2 years I could be a backing singer, and I thought, well, if this is, because the idea was it was going to be the last one I ever did, I thought, well, what do I want to do? A big part that because I know Jen could sing, I know you could sing, right? So I thought I'll get Jen involved, right? Because then that's something cool, a cool experience for you to like tell your kids about or whatever. If it goes well. But yeah, I knew you were nervous, and I've never seen you as nervous as you were, like in the actual. I don't think you were that bad doing the video because you performative and you've probably had a few beers. But like doing the song, you were like kind of shaking. I mean, it was cold. It was a bit cold,
yeah.
But you were kind of visibly shaking. I've never really seen you that nervous about it before. But you did a great job of it in the end.
What was weird though, because you know when you start something off and you're usually pretty nervous,
Yeah.
but I literally could not.
You couldn't shake it.
I couldn't bring it back around. So the entire how many hours were we in the studio?
I think there's like 6 maybe total.
Literally like spent the entire time like trembling like this, but Matt did such a good job of like making us feel like dead comfortable, didn't he?
Yeah.
And it was so weird because like obviously you were singing your bit, you couldn't really hear what they were saying at the other side.
Yeah.
So you kind of like, you do your part and you look to them for like some kind of approval. And I think it was like comedic, but at one point Adam just kept having his like hands in his head like this. And I was thinking, what am I doing? I can't get it right. So yeah, that was that was a lot of pressure, but it was enjoyable. And now I've finished it. I wish I'd have just chilled out a bit more because...
Yeah, you said that. You said like, I wish I'd kind of enjoyed it all a bit more, but it's hard to enjoy something you're not kind of familiar with. In the first one. Do we even tell like the story of how it came about that we went down to the studio?
No.
Did I cover that before?
No. I think we might have mentioned it in a previous podcast, but explain.
Yeah. Well, it's long story short. So like, normally for the past 2 years I've done it. I've just done like record it on my Mac, right? But a music producer called Matt O'Grady contacted me like early part of last year, 2022. and said he was like a big fan of the videos, and he'd obviously seen the songs, and he said, "Look, if you ever want to do one for charity again, let me know. I'll do it for you free of charge." So I was like, "Oh, that's really nice of him." I said, "Well, I don't know if I'm going to do one again, mate, but I'll think of you." And I told that story about trying to figure out a song and I couldn't land on one. And then I picked this song, and this was like when I was actually in Oklahoma, so it would have been like September.
Yeah.
I messaged him and said, "Is this offer still open? And you don't have to do it for free, and I'll pay you whatever you want to charge." And he's like, "Yeah, of course, mate, just come down. What date?" And we landed on a date, and then, but yeah, Matt O'Grady's like the odd. I don't believe in fate or anything, right? But there's like an odd fate to it because Jen doesn't really like rock music much, do you? It's not really your cup of tea, right? You're like a Whitney Houston kind of, that kind of wanky stuff. You like Harry Styles as well.
Yeah, I do like Harry Styles.
But one of the things, records that we both used to like, which is a bit of a guilty pleasure for me, is there's a band called You Me at 6, right? Who were pretty successful, like a British band. And their first album, Take Off Your Colours, was one generally loved. So if we're ever in like the car or whatever, we would kind of like listen to it as like a common ground. And it turns out Matt O'Grady produced the album. So they recorded there, which is mad. And he recorded albums for like Def Havana. He's worked with loads of bands, right? So it was kind of odd for us to be there and see all these gold plaques. And Jen was like, "Oh, fucking hell, that's like the gold plaque for, like Take Off Your Colours there, as we go in." So yeah, that was kind of strange in itself, but it was funny rolling up, wasn't it? Because Jen was like nervous about it. She's like, "Well, how do you know this guy's legit?" I'm like, "Well, I know. I've seen his website. And he's not just like some weird guy." But then I don't think Matt would be too offended if we say like the area that he lives in is not particularly. What's the word for it? It looks a bit beat down.
It looks like a shithole.
It looks.
Is that what you're trying to say?
Where he lives is not. It looks a bit beat down. Isn't it? So you were kind of like, "Oh my god, where are we at here?" Like I thought we were going to a real recording studio.
He won't be offended.
I don't think he will. He's a level-headed guy. He lives in somewhere that's about as shit as where I live. Let's put it that way. But his recording studio, which is really flash, is in his garden, right? So I think you were kind of like, where the fuck are we?
Can I just jump in here about the area and say the street was lovely,
Yeah.
but we were initially a little bit early, right? So we were going to go grab a coffee or something like that. So we decided to like have a little bit of a detour around, and we did land upon somewhere a little bit sketchy, right? So that was the entrance to his street. But I feel like if we'd have come in from the main roads, we wouldn't have.
I'm not knocking it. I'm simply saying that like you rolling up, you were a bit like.
All I can picture is like a map of Grand Theft Auto. There's hookers on the corner. Like, there's people getting beat up. There's a car set on fire. And there's Matt like that with a cup of tea going, "Come on in. Record your song."
The funny thing is there was like a house alarm going off as we got there as well. So I'm like, oh. No, but I don't think that's what I'm trying to say. Is I think the way I had told you about it is you thought it was maybe like a dedicated studio.
Yeah.
But it's actually a studio at his home, which is very nice. He's got this little hangout area in the
So
studio.
cool.
That's
little
cool,
sofa to
really
sit in.
cool.
He's got the fridge with the beers in it, which you were, I'm sure, like, I think you wanted to protect your voice or whatever, but given the chance, I think you'd have probably done like 5 or 6 of those.
I was tempted.
But yeah, to me, I found that the experience of recording it was a lot of fun.
As like a video creator, what was it like to see somebody create music? Like as we know it, of like you do your cuts and various takes, various cuts. Is there a similarity to video in the music world, or?
Yeah, I mean, look, we did. It wasn't kind of. He kind of said to us like, "I'm going to sit and edit for a bit now," which was probably a half an hour, 40 minutes. Once he'd got what he thought were the takes, and then we had to do some more takes, like overdubs and whatnot. But he was kind of very much. You could tell he's been doing this, from 16 or whatever, because it was really rapid. Because I thought we were going to be there. We basically had the full song, didn't we? By the time we left,
Yeah.
it was not much different to how it then eventually sounded. And I thought for that to be done inside 6 hours with 2 people that aren't really in any way pros, I thought was kind of mad. I mean, he'd done a lot of the instrumentation before we got there, but the actual singing I thought would take way longer.
Did he say who was the best singer?
Ooh,
I don't think.
didn't?
No, he didn't. But I think
I might DM him.
I think I was. You should DM.
Let me
DM him now.
Let me DM.
So we've got we're doing the podcast and we're asking who's. I think you are the best singer, but I think I knew what he was going to want from me more. So I think I took less time purely because I was like, okay, that wasn't quite right. Let's roll again, and I knew what I'd got wrong.
Yeah.
But I think you can. I mean, neither of us are singers, right? But you're a better singer than me. That's
And
not hard to
I think what you did much better was like kind of that shift from the verse into the chorus, the power shift. Like I couldn't get that at all. So when I sing high, my voice isn't as strong.
Yeah,
but I couldn't get that.
You were originally
lift.
supposed to. The idea in my head was that you were originally going to do the chorus, but
Yeah.
really you can hear my voice more in the chorus,
Yeah.
and that's because you. I think you had you couldn't really figure out how to project, and I was like, it was kind of like I had to shout a bit, but a lot of like just loud singing is kind of like shouting and just kind of controlling it, I guess. But yeah, I think the experience was good, but it was funny, I think for both of us because like we kept like during when I tried to do the, so I had this idea in my head. This is the producer in me. I'm like, right, Matt. I was like, so I've got this idea for, you know, the part that goes, "Give me a piece." And that's supposed to be funny because it's a daft thing to say in like a dramatic voice, right? And I had this idea that like I would sing it in like a normal register and then try and do it really deep, but then also try and do it really high, you know, kind of like a bit of a Queen style.
Yeah.
And he's like, try it. And I could get the deep part really well. But then I'm trying to go like, "Give me a piece," without my voice breaking.
The dog's barking and shit.
So obviously that took a little while, but we got it in the end and it sounded all right. But it was mad to me like what you could do with a take. Like if you didn't do something quite in time, they've got all this kind of plug-in technology essentially to like manipulate your voice so it still sounds not robotic.
Yeah.
Like doesn't sound like hyper auto-tuned or anything like that, but they can drag it out to, you know, hit certain timings and whatever so it sounds polished. But
I think what I did a really good job of, because Adam went first because I was super nervous. So I had to kind of then match his range and like how long he held a note, which I was struggling to do. So Matt was dead good, wasn't he, at taking like something that I did and just making it kind of fit and overlap with what. But he said to us, Matt, he's like, go out there and chill because there's a separate area, isn't there, in the studio? But we were like, no, we'll just sit here. And it was just absolutely fascinating to sit and watch him take everything on the screen, snip it. Like it was, honestly, it was a masterpiece.
You said you wish you'd have like filmed that because the plan was I was going to come with you and film it. Because I like I'm sure there'll be some useful, like it'll be useful to get this content. Yeah. And you were like, nah, we don't need it. We'll just go down. And then afterwards, he's like, we should have filmed that.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to get that kind of the behind the scenesy bit, but like
maybe we'll do it this year. If you don't ditch you for slagging off his house.
He did say though the last thing he said was I didn't slag off his house. He said the area was. I don't think he's probably well aware of that. But in the same way that if Jenna says to me, "You live where you live is surrounded by a bit of a dump," I'll be like, "Yeah." I mean, like, what's the big deal? But the last thing he said to us though was like, when we were recording is, "If you want to do it again next year, just give me a shout." But I think I'd go back and I wouldn't take it. I felt bad taking it for free, even though it was clear that Matt had some motivation around, I think maybe a member of his family had a stroke or maybe multiple. So I think that was his reason for getting it. But he put a lot of effort in it and he was so invested in it. Like he was texting me the positions of like in the iTunes chart, like at 5 o'clock in the morning or whatever, on like 2 o'clock at night. So he was obviously really very invested in it, and it was a really nice. If anyone like wants to record music, look up Matt O'Grady. I think he made a big exception for us squeezing us in because it's clear that he works with a lot of people.
Yeah, he's like a super high profile.
But he's so nice though. Like I think if you were to be a little bit put off by recording, if you're in a band and you want to record, he'd be perfect for you because he makes you feel really at ease. And put it this way, if I was doing that, I wouldn't have that patience with people. But it was funny that you said that he'd when we talking about singing, that he said that neither of us were the worst singers he's worked with, and he works with actual bands. He was saying there were certain bands where the singer was like that bad that he'd have to sing one word at a time and like auto-tune each word. Do you remember?
Yeah.
How do people end up in a band? How can you be in a band and be that bad at singing?
I don't know, George. How can you be in a band and be that bad?
Oh, you cheeky bastard.
But some bands, like they're kind of powered by like very few people, unless you're like Celine Dion or something, are as good on live as they are on record, and that's fine because a lot of bands, like especially rock bands, get by on like the energy of the kind of the performance and stuff, and that's cool. But I found that quite interesting that there are actually people in successful bands that are worse singers than us, because I'm not a great singer. But I think if you can carry a tune, they can make it work with modern technology, you know?
Yeah.
I've asked him who was the best singer, and he's put, for fuck's sake, can I plead the fifth? And I put, fuck no, who was it? So I'm still awaiting a response. I've got the dots. So you built some tense music in now, George.
I want him to say me now.
You might have to come out to shrink this bit, George.
Maybe he's thinking about it, so maybe he's not replying.
It's got to be you, because Beard Meats Food's harder to type than Jen. They do it like that.
He's going to put a bunch of caveats in there like, oh, well, you know.
Yeah,
like,
he's trying to be...
he was good at this, she was good
He's trying
at
to be a
that.
politician about it. Come on, Matt.
I'm surprised he replied straight away.
Yeah, I am as well, to be fair.
This is tense, man.
I would be surprised if he said anything other than I want him to say you, just so you feel good.
I think you did a better job in the recording studio. I messed up more than you did.
Yeah, but I expected that because you had more nerves and. Yeah, that's not. I think we both did all right. It sounds better than the original, actually, if you ask me.
This is where I start suing you. Fuck you, Beard.
That was the funny part as well. Yeah, when I was speaking to Hannah from Creeper, I wasn't quite as. They were very, very, very polite about because it was one of those. You know, you always say to me, "This is ingrained in me now because of you." You say it's better to ask to apologize and ask permission, right? Ask for forgiveness and permission.
Yeah,
and that was pretty much what I did, right? But the weird part about that is, so the original was by a band called Creeper, right? It's a song called "Ghosts Over Calvary." In case people don't know, I did make it quite clear in the video, but a lot of people still thought it was like my own composition. So I mean, it's not. It's not. Yeah, so I didn't. I put the video up like at a minute past midnight, right? Just because like that's what I've done with it. I don't know why, but I thought, oh, it'd be fine. Nobody's gonna watch it at this time, so I'll just message him in the morning, right? So I messaged the female singer from an instrumentalist from Creeper, and I said, look, I've done this, and I messaged Will, who's the male lead singer as well. And he didn't ever reply, but she replied. And when she replied, she said, oh yeah, like Will sent me this morning. I'm like, this morning? It's like 7 o'clock. So like he's seen it already. So I'm thinking, oh man. And it wasn't quite, they were very nice about it, very polite. It wasn't quite as warm a reception as when Jimbo Blaine from Mystery Jet said like, oh, fuck, I love your videos, man. Yeah, do what you want with it, you know?
They were like, you bearded dickhead. We're not going to sue you. But
I'll send you, George, I'll send you a screenshot because she was talking to somebody on Twitter, which somebody then tagged me in, and somebody had put like, there you go.
oh, fuck it. Right. He's been writing this for a while, yeah. So let's see what he's put. Right. They're both much better than I thought they would be. To be honest, I've recorded way worse than both of them, seriously. I guess if I had to pick, I'd say that Jenna edged it.
I think that's
but as a true politician, but Adam was still really good and much better than he'll say he was. Is but that all right? Question mark.
I think that's very fair, yeah.
Go like that. Stick ones up.
I can't do that, man. He's one of those guys I don't think I could ever do it. He's such a nice dude.
I think if he'd have heard what you just said about his house, he wouldn't have been as nice.
No, I don't think he'd be bothered.
I've just sent that back.
Yeah. Anyway, to continue my anecdote, yeah, somebody had tagged me in the conversation. Somebody must have messaged her on Twitter about the song. And she had said, oh my God, no, every time we play a live gig now, people are going to be singing Cheesecake back at me. And I thought, oh man, I'd not really thought about that. Like, I hope nobody does that. I'm sure they won't, but... yeah, I said a couple of my friends are really big Creeper fans, and I was like, next time they're in Leeds, let me know, because I'll rest myself to the front. So they'll all be goths, right? So they'll be like 8 stone, underfed, and I'll be like, cheesecake.
It's like The Walking Dead.
Do you want me to come up on stage? Like, get out of the way. I'll sing this one.
Adam kicking all these goths our way.
Oh my God.
Joy Division suck. But no, it was a very it was a fun experience.
Oh my God.
I fucking hope they sue you now. Right, back from my little wee break. It's weird there are a load of like goths knocking on doors. Like, so strange.
No chance, it's daylight outside.
All right, so we spoke about recording the song. We're then going to recording the video. How was that process for you?
I think that I found that more enjoyable than the singing. Because I think like, obviously the voice was going to be a big part of it, whereas it was performance in the video, right? And I could mime.
Gang signs. I got cheesecake.
I hate that scene that starts it off, and like I look like a penguin. My legs are like flapping like this. But I really enjoyed that. I think it was a shame that the bar didn't stay open.
Yeah.
Because I think it could have got a bit, you
Yeah,
know.
you lost your buzz a little bit, didn't you, halfway through?
Yeah, but honestly, I give myself whiplash. Honestly, my neck for the next week from headbanging. Because how middle-aged is that? Giving yourself whiplash from
I actually said that
headbanging?
in the video that because we filmed, didn't we? We did that fish and chip challenge afterwards.
Yeah.
And I set off in the Tesla a bit quicker than she expected. And she was like, "Oh, come on, man! I've got whiplash from rocking out yesterday." I'm like, "Yeah, that's a middle-aged problem."
I absolutely loved the filming part of it, but again, did feel massive amounts of pressure. You know, when I kept laughing,
Yeah.
and proper corpsing, because then I'm thinking,
Corpses.
when you laugh and you can't stop.
It's like when you ruin a take by laughing.
Yeah.
It's corpsing.
Thanks, George.
Who
I
knew?
thought I was.
We should probably know that.
I've never heard that.
It's a proper well-known thing. So what's it? The bloopers show. It'll be all right on the night.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with the what's the guy
When
called?
two people laugh and just can't recover, that's called corpsing.
All right.
It will kill it. The performance was sound. We'll talk about the performance, but when you kept laughing when you were in bed eating the fucking chip, and then you were winking and chewing, and you couldn't decide whether to wink or chew. And I'm like, fuck. And then Josh would say something. I was just like,
Oh, yeah.
please.
Just like, action. Great film, this.
Because I knew.
Why did you do that? And I could hear you in the background of one of the takes, and you're like, "What's she even laughing at?" And I was like, "Ah!"
I said, what, you got your cock out? What's she laughing at?
I just could not recover it though. And then I could because the TV in the bedroom was not on, so
Yeah.
I could kind of see myself in the reflection. And then Josh had had a comment, and I'm like, "Oh no, everyone's gonna get mad at me now," because we did it
Nah.
late at night, or
Yeah.
it was a night time, wasn't it? And we had the gym scene left to do.
No, that were a late night. That the only person that were going to get mad were
Yeah.
Never.
my man over there.
Never.
The performance one was so cool though, in that church. It took a while for us to get set up in there, a bit longer than it probably should have done.
Mainly took time for setting up that light outside
Yeah,
to
people almost died trying to set up.
fix some moonlight.
It looked good though.
It looked good.
It did look unreal. I didn't realize we were going to have so many people. Do you remember the guy that was pulling focus from Philadelphia? I thought this poor bloke for the 5 hours is just going between one distance and another on a camera.
Yeah.
And did somebody say to him
I said to, because obviously I got the crew together, so we had
which was about 12 people,
Yeah.
something all in all.
DP,
Loads of
focus
people.
puller, gaffers, lighting, we had everybody there. And I was like, how's it going, man? You enjoying it? Because I'm trying to direct and I've not spoken to him yet. And he's like, oh yeah, man, I love focus puller.
Bro,
And I'm
I love pulling focus. I live to pull focus, man.
I'm like, fucking props to you, son. You're doing a good job.
I think I did say to it once, because he looked just proper in the zone. I was like, are you actually having a good time? Is everything all right? Because he just looked so serious. We're all laughing and doing stupid
It doesn't even
stuff.
seem like a real job, that does it? So for those that don't know what we're talking about, Josh has got the camera, so he's the DP.
No, this Josh, different Josh.
Then they were an assistant cameraman, and then they were a focus puller. So the focus puller is the one that keeps it in focus. So it's manually done on this wheel, and he's just looking at a screen and he's just checking that it's pinpoint on focus to whoever we're aiming at. Fair play to the
All
dude,
that for
man.
a daft song about cheesecake. You wouldn't believe the size of that. Even I didn't when we got there, but it was something else.
And then 2 people came to the door. Didn't
Oh,
they
yeah.
remember when we were filming? Who's in here?
Yeah, there were
cool.
there were 2 people walked in off the street. Security were tight.
Middle of Hyde Park.
Yeah, middle of Hyde Park in Leeds. And they walked in and they're watching. And they're like, what's the name of this band? They sound incredible.
Lad, they were from Hyde Park. We went in New
No, I
York.
went to LA.
Hey, what's this band called? It's all fucking ace, mate. But yeah, it sounded ace because it was a recording. We weren't playing it live.
And we managed to get it done and dusted. You rocked out through some gang signs.
I think it was meant to be the rock sign.
But it ended up with
But then I
drums.
ended up going,
When we'd finished, so we'd done that, we'd edited the first section together, and I showed it to Adam. He's like, "Oh, I just didn't give it enough." He's like, so he was complaining about himself that he didn't go
I always
hard
just
enough.
look. I don't know. I just always look, as my mum would say, gormless. I just got this look on my face, I'm like, oh man, and it's not there's no, I don't know, man.
If you watch the Garlic Bread video, you look really gormless.
Yeah, I'm like,
Playing your acoustic
I'm clearly not a heavy performer. I think I should have just acknowledged the fact that there's no. I don't need to really be close to the mic. I don't need to make it look believable because it's a party song, right? So I should have just been fucking around, but I didn't. I wanted to do a jump off the drum riser, but George wouldn't let me because those were his dad's drums.
oh.
I wanted to trash him at the end. Like,
Yeah, if he'd seen that video and if you'd have done that, he'd have been like, that's not happening again.
You're not lending us them again. Yeah, then we obviously shot the scenes at your house. Then they shot the scenes at the gym. What else were there?
first
It was
time
the
Jen has
ones in the
seen a
car.
gym that in like 3 years. She's like, what is this place? What is that? It's a treadmill, Jen.
Such a knobhead.
It is.
Such a knobhead. And in the gym, you making me just run for longer than was necessary. That was both of you whilst he filmed it.
No, because I knew that the longer you shoot, the more leeway you have to use the footage.
Did it surprise you how much we had to shoot? So like,
Yeah.
what were the 4 or 5 days of shooting to
Yeah.
make a 3-minute video?
Yeah, mad. And I think like, because obviously I know how much each individual part took,
Yeah.
like, you know, doing up the jeans, the scene in bed took ages, but actually it's like,
That sounds bad, doesn't it? Jen's OnlyFans will be on screen. Just
Subscribe to Patreon.
oh my God. I was really disappointed actually that you'd lost the footage of when we found the handcuffs in
I know.
the bedroom. Toy handcuffs.
This is the
I've got a little boy and he has
bollocks.
he has a police outfit.
We'd not even started recording on day one, and she's like, so I'll tell you about when Noah got conceived in San Francisco. Like, in front of the whole crew. We'd not even started recording.
It was like my mate who would like depping in playing guitar, and he was like, because he used to live in America, and I can't remember where he used to live, but he used to say, he said it, and you're like, oh yeah. No, it was conceived there. And he was like, all right.
Dead silence.
He was like, nice to meet you.
Yeah. Yeah, no one's on drums in background.
I just don't have a filter sometimes.
Oh.
They were toy handcuffs.
Yeah, of course
Plastic
they were.
toy handcuffs. But we'd film, we were just like sat on the drawer.
Why were they in your
They
bedroom?
weren't in my bedroom. They were in the office where we filmed the jeans scene.
Yeah.
Just like
Noah's commonly found in the office is he doing a little bit of work.
Working hard.
Anyway, let's get off that.
Working up to be the new producer of Breaking Bread.
He's right over there.
yeah.
The final scene then, so the cheesecake scene at the end.
Oh God,
That were hard work, wasn't it?
that was hard work.
I knew that would be. I knew it would be.
I think like he was like totally past it by this point, right?
Yeah.
I knew driving up to the venue, he's just like, I just want to get it done.
You
now.
could tell in the
Just
behind the
done.
scenes video because I filmed you before and you're like, I just want to get it done.
Yeah, I don't look like I'm enjoying it. I mean, I did enjoy it, but like, I didn't really enjoy doing the scenes much because I think by that point, like I said, it was like a culmination of years of, not years, like a year of like intense effort, I think. But
Yeah, you did. Because he kept trying to change stuff. He's like, let's just get it done. I'm like, no, because when it needs to be done right. And if it's not done right, you'll be like, it's not done right. And
There was about half an hour deliberation about whether to just present the cheesecake,
Oh,
whether
no.
the cheesecake just.
It's 'cause
sat in
I'd
the
have a
middle of
pie.
the
who got that right, George?
I would have a plan.
I got that right.
For most scenes, I had a plan. And then because I did get involved in pre-production, so I'd go, this is the plan now. And go, no, I think we should do it this way. And I'm like,
Who was right?
We've just
Who was
settled
right
this.
about the
Hey,
cheesecake?
Hey, you're the boss, man. I just
It's a
changed
team
it.
effort. There is no I in team. I'm just saying I thought it was right.
You were like, I'll just listen to you and then I'll just do what I originally thought.
I knew that like little kind of dialogue bit though, where it's the spoken word part in the middle. I knew that was going to be hard because we're across from each other and we're siblings,
Yeah.
right? So the first thing you're going to do is like if we just start looking at each other now, we're probably going to start laughing at some point. And you had to do all the lines. I had to do one line. So I'm thinking like I've just got to try and not make a laugh. And I couldn't. I kept like just she'd be like. My mouth in the words along, you know. But she aced it though.
You killed that.
Yours was perfectly in time. Mine was a bit off, I think. But
I think bearing in mind how much I'd lost myself, like laughing,
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be really tricky. But it was him. Like every time I looked at him, you just saw like his lips start twitching like this, and then I was like, and I even tried to like look past him, but I could still like
that
just
made
see
me
in
laugh
my
more because you
peripheral.
went buzz-eyed. You went like.
And then the lip went, and I was just like, "You knobhead!"
He just started pointing at me. No, man.
The bloopers are just
That's
gold,
so
aren't they?
good. It's so good. I love that.
And then the final, the ending of the video, where you smashing your face into the cheesecake.
Yeah.
How bad was that for you, mate?
That's pretty bad. I nearly died in that because I breathed some of it in. So, for some
Nearly
reason.
died's a stretch.
You're a true war hero.
That was, you like a bit of clickbait, don't you, George? You can put that in the title.
BeardMeatsFood nearly died.
But no, I
Inhaling
I-
cheesecake.
I sniffed as I went into the cheesecake, and a bit of it got like stuck in my nose. So I had to kind of go. And then Josh Blewett, who was one of the cam ops, he went to eat some, and he went, oh no, wait. and put it back down. But I think he.
The scene looked so good because we were next to this open like wood burning fire, and I'd bought this cheesecake which was huge. But we were on a ticking time bomb. It just started to melt. It just started to sag. It immediately started to sag.
Yeah.
And it smelled like shit.
It smelled so bad. And I felt sorry for Josh because he was saying that...
You're saying this now. Somebody commented on the video saying, I made that cheesecake for you from Farmhouse.
I did that.
It must have been the heat that made it smell, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. It wasn't... I don't know what it was. It wasn't cheesecake. It was like I don't know, just like a bunch of goo on top of...
Josh was saying his dad ate like a cheesecake a day.
Yeah, he said his
though.
dad's like addicted to cheesecake.
So I was hoping that we'd have something salvageable, and then he just goes
He probably
and
snorted one into it.
snots one in.
Yeah.
Ugh.
No, it was never. I mean, I wouldn't have wanted him to eat it anyway, truth be told, but it was worth it for the shot, you know?
Yeah.
It was good.
Full commitment.
Only took me about 6 days to wash it out.
That must have been bad, that.
It was bad. It was really bad. It did smell by the end. Felt sorry for the guy like that owned the cafe because it was like beautiful venue.
I know.
It?
Harry from Raquello. Thank you very much, Harry.
Thank you, Harry. You were so good, and then he just messed it all up with like flying cheese.
Well, I did say to him, I'm going to make it with my... We cleaned it up, didn't we? I say we. I didn't really clean it up, but I was busy cleaning myself up. But we didn't leave it a mess, did we, the place?
No. All good though. Success. Raised a bit of money for charity. We'll find out at some point later on next year.
Yeah, I mean, like the whole... Even the release of it, though, was like a journey in itself, wasn't it? You know, because I didn't know until a minute past midnight whether it was going up or not.
Yeah.
And you never really... This was the least sure I'd been that people would enjoy it, you know? Even after I'd seen the video, you know, because you've recorded it and then you've seen the edit and everything, it kind of just becomes like white noise. You don't know if it's good. And I thought like, it's weird this because it's even heavier than the original version of that song, and this guitars are like way further forward in the mix. And I thought this is going to switch people off because it's not even the chord progression is like, it starts on like a minor chord and it has this kind of angry feel to it. You know what I mean? Sorry to be too technical, George probably knows what I'm talking about. What I'm saying is, it doesn't sound fun, does it?
No.
You listen to Garlic Bread, you listen to Chicken Wings song, it's kind of energetic, and this is kind of pretty dark, you know? It's got a dark feel to it. But, so I didn't know that people would like it, but it had the least negative reaction of all of them, I think.
It's good, mate. Like, it was a good start as well. Obviously, you'd put the comments and then black screen, go on there. That were a good start to the video, that.
Yeah, and then I did a different intro, because I put it on the fish and chips video that we did, and I did the phone recording with Jen.
Yeah.
So that worked, but
there was going to be a different intro, wasn't there? When you're going to walk into the church or something, and then
we didn't have
run out of
time to
time.
shoot it. But that was going to work. But it
and me like being P Diddy to Notorious, I got myself into your video again. That's 2 years now.
I love that scene. I love that scene.
Aced it though, didn't you? I think that took one take.
It's professional.
Got a free fryer part of it as well, didn't you?
I was so lucky because we'd not booked that venue. We literally walked into Morley to a cafe, and it was the perfect. It was like it's all glass front, and it was overcast day, so it was really soft.
Overcast. It was like fucking Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
You went in there. It was like a horror movie.
It was the perfect lighting to just film this, and they were like, "Yeah, go on then." I said, "We'll buy some food. We need to buy a salad and a fry up anyway." So and we bought Josh like a hot chocolate. They're like, "Yeah, crack on, film." And they did say, "Oh, will you put our name in the title of the video?" I'm like, "Of course we will." And knowing full well we're not going to put it.
Wait, what's the restaurant called? We can give him a shout out now.
Kachina in Morley.
Nice. It looks nice.
Yeah, it's probably the nicest cafe in Morley.
It was packed though, wasn't it?
It was rammed, yeah. There were loads of people in there.
It's not a particularly high bar, is that? Yeah, it's good though.
Right, let's dig a bit deeper into your two's past, because I know that's what people want.
Just before you get into that, how mad was that interaction when that woman came rushing over?
Oh god,
that was insane.
The girl outside TGI's, the woman.
Oh yeah, that was a bit like.
Oh my god!
It felt at first a bit like an assassination
the
attempt.
plant.
You paid
plan.
No, she was really nice though. But like, very rarely do people get that excited about meeting me. I'm not that impressive to meet. But she was. I think she'd been up all night, maybe sleep deprived or something. But so yeah, it's nice to meet her. Yeah, made it into the behind the scenes video.
Made it into the behind the scenes because like 30 seconds before that, me and him were fighting in car park.
Grumpy, and then he switches his professional head on.
I know.
Oh, hi, nice to meet you. And then he's like with us all day. Fucking, I need to get this done.
The truth is
Every
out.
time we have somebody on here,
Being exposed.
when are we going to get your sister on? Then
Let's go. We'll get her on next week. Next week we'll have my sister on. what I've established is we've both got sisters. We ain't got brothers, and the lack of brother is like coming out in him because all he wants to do is fight me. Like, he loves me, but he just wants to fight me at all times. And
really unsuccessfully, because you can just pick him up and like.
Well, I literally picked him up, and then when we were in your room,
Well,
I
you say
joked
that you say that like I couldn't pick you up. Like, it's like the whole point of that was it was supposed to be a little striking bout, and then because like I Denzel Washington you, right? I just kind of hit you with about 6 significant strikes in 3 seconds.
His confidence.
You then reverted to okay, I'm going to break the rules and start grappling because you know that's what you're going to win at.
But then it looks like a dad picking up a kid when you're thrown over his shoulder.
But even then, I had him in a crank. He was going down Chinatown.
I'm going to choke you out. I'm like, no, you weren't. No, you were so far off. I mean, this does link perfectly into. So we've had a few messages back and forth so behind the scenes to get this show ready.
All right.
And I'm told there's quite an exciting wrestling story from back when you were kids. So if Jenkins, you set the scene, please, for us.
So, Adam and I, we have like had a pretty like sound relationship all our lives, right? We never really fight or anything like that, but we do, or we did. I can't say do. We don't wrestle anymore. We did used to enjoy a little play fight, right? When we were younger.
Who doesn't like a little bit of play fight in here?
A little scuffle.
But I honestly always won. I was the stronger sibling at that point in our lives. Probably not now.
You were a bit heavier as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, maybe we get some photos.
Yeah, we were in different weight classes. I was like super bantamweight. She was like super heavyweight.
We need some pictures.
But you're gonna have to get some. You can't pretend that you were skinny though. You were like massive as well.
No,
we were obese kids.
I don't think at that time. I'm not sure, but
we were.
Maybe.
We were. And so, but I feel like we're getting kind of a little bit older at this point, so maybe like teenage years. So
probably, yeah.
We're having
18, 19.
Yeah, it probably was.
I think we probably fought more when we were teenagers than like when we were actual kids and it was acceptable.
And we're having a proper wrestle one day, and I end up bending his thumb back.
Oh, now I know what you're talking about.
So then he says to me, he's like, I know I've hurt him at this point because he's like, Jen, I don't feel well. So,
What do you mean you bent his thumb back? Like
I feel like I kicked it or something.
Like that, yeah.
Touched that. Okay, the worst part, but just to interrupt you for a second. Yeah, so you did that and like I knew something had gone wrong. But then, so like I grabbed it after she'd done it the first time and I could physically bend it back to touch my wrist. Oh. So that's when I started to feel incredibly ill. I think he's making it sound worse than it actually is because we didn't need to go to hospital or anything. It wasn't like he'd dislocated it. Maybe, I don't know, maybe temporarily. I don't know.
God, what happened there? What?
So he says, Jen, I don't feel well. So I like sits him down on the sofa, right, and think, oh, like, you all right? He's like, yeah, no, I just feel a bit unwell. So mum's upstairs, like cleaning or something. So I run to the bottom of the stairs and I'm like, Mum, Adam's not feeling well. Next minute, there's this almighty crash. He's fainted head first off the sofa and just toppled into the radiator, which luckily wasn't switched on because I think it was like summertime. I just like scolding him. So I was leaning against him. I came around touching the radiator. Mum then flies down the stairs and I'm like, I'm sorry, we've been fighting. I've hurt him. She was nearly excommunicated on the family that very day for violently assaulting my mum's favourite child. So.
I was about to say, who was the favourite child?
I think I am still the favourite child.
Yeah.
Always. Because I do more for her, you see. Yeah. So he thinks that he can come in.
Come here, tell us the truth, Jen.
I'm going to tell you the truth. So I do all the mum admin. Your mums struggle with like technology and stuff like that. So I'm always doing stuff for her. He just comes in with a check on Christmas Day and thinks that it solves everything right, which is really annoying because then on Christmas, everyone's like, oh, Adam, you're so generous. I'm like, well, you know what? I literally slog my guts out for you guys all year. I feel like I should just stop you there just for your own good because you haven't cashed your check yet. So the more you talk, that's going to go boing. No, I get it.
So you do all the life admin then?
Do
You're the
all the life admin.
When mum rings you up and she's like, my iPad won't connect, you've got to go around, connect it to Wi-Fi again.
Tech support.
My mum knows I'm not in any way dependable at anything, so that's why. I'll say to her, why don't you ask Adam? I'm like, oh, Adam won't help me. So, but she did say the other day, she's like, oh, apparently there's your banking app, it says cash out or cash or something to do with cash. And she's like,
if I press this button, how does the cash come out? I'm like, well, you've not got notes and coins going to drop out the bottom of your foot. Like, what do you think? But that's the level of like technology, that like knowledge that she's got. So it's a full-time job.
And what about your nymphing Anne? Like, what's going on here? Like, have you got any tales?
Oh, Granny Astrid. She's just one in a million.
She's called Astrid as well, which I don't think I mentioned before. It's a bit of a... She has about 17 names, you know, like as if she's royalty, but she's not really.
She's actually not called Astrid, which is a bit of a weird tale. She's actually called...
Right, okay, probably best not to give that information out in full on the podcast publicly.
We'll beep it out. We'll beep it out.
But so of all those names, you'd think probably Anne is the most like, you know.
Yeah.
Or even Cynthia, a bit classy, you know.
Yeah.
She chooses Astrid to be known by, even though that's not her first name.
Right.
Or Ass for short.
Well, my granddad actually used to call her, I think I want to say affectionately, but used to call her Tubber. She's been overweight most of her life.
Oh, right.
But I feel like you can't really do that, can you? But like she was never offended by it.
No, she's just like accepted it, didn't she?
What's some of the best stories that Tubber's given you then?
I don't even think it's like a question of story. She's just like, I think she has an entirely fictionally conceived version of her life in her head. Like maybe like she banged her head when she was like 12 or something. Because she thinks that she thinks that she like kind of came to, her family are all from Cornwall, right?
Yeah.
And she thinks like they all kind of came to Cornwall. This is not a joke for the sake of the podcast, on like some kind of pirate ship or something. Like, because she always says like her relatives were, her family were pirates. So we're all kind of like, as kids, you mean like smugglers, you know, so they were criminals. Is what you say. She's like, no, like pirates. And I'm like, they don't really exist, Gran, like, and haven't existed since like maybe like 1580 or something. So I think she, like, everything that is in her head is like, maybe she just got some kind of substance dependence that we're unaware of. I don't know.
I think what makes her particularly unique is that she's just filthy, right? So we're out for dinner yesterday. Just as an example.
Yes, let's go.
Just to capture the kind of thing that will just come out of her head. So Adam orders lamb koftas or something.
Lamb kofta, yeah.
And she just like sits at the head of the table.
Come out in small sausage format.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, they look like a shriveled up old man. Like on about bits. Like bits.
She's like, oh, Adam, they look like some shriveled up old men on the table, don't they? I'm like, all right, Gran, stop.
And she buys you like cards, like birthday cards. So like the weird thing about like buying like 1 million cards for every occasion. But there'll be the ones where, you know, you open it up and like there's a naked man inside. And it's like, what? I've got you a special treat for your birthday. And then there's just like a stripper or something crazy.
It's like three cards. So she'll send like one kind of heartfelt card, which is like to my lovely grandson or whatever. Yeah. She'll send one that's like just, I think she just thinks I've got no mates, which is partially true. So she'll send me a few more, right, to make it up. And then there'll be one that she's picked specifically. You know that she's not been shopping with like my mum or my auntie. She's picked this one by herself. And because it's the filthiest card in the shop and thinks it's normal to send that to like a grandson. To be fair, it doesn't make me laugh, but that's the word, filthy. Yeah.
You need to get her on the podcast. She'll be such a laugh.
Steady. No, come on. We've had enough of my family members. It was like all they could do to convince me to let you on the podcast.
I think you'd have to edit a lot of it out because none of it would be PC.
Yeah.
None of it.
It'd be like a comedy sketch from 80s. You can't have any more.
Yeah.
So what other tales have you got from your youth then?
This is a lot of pressure. I don't know if it's appropriate because this one's about fighting. Is that you can talk about fighting?
What do you mean fighting?
In what context?
We already had a
self-defense. Like this was like. Do you remember when you went golfing?
Golfing?
When you were on the golf course and someone started on you and you threw a punch and dislocated your shoulder.
You can tell that, but you weren't there, though.
I know, but that's a story that's hilariously embarrassing about you.
But that shows like how willing I am to self-sacrifice in the protection of people that I care about.
Do you know, like in your head when you're dreaming and you just can't throw a punch, so he just like swings one and the shoulder just pops out.
It's a true story.
Why were you fighting on the golf course?
No, I'll tell you the story if you want to hear it, because Jenna wasn't there, first of all. But I was playing for whatever reason, brief period of time when I was a lot younger, so like I was late teens maybe. I was playing golf with two of my friends at Round Hay Golf Club, I think it was. And one of them was like ahead of me because I'd probably scuffed my drive or something, I don't know. And some guy had like, because a lot of, I think he'd hit a shot or something, and you shout 4, right? Yeah. And this bloke, because it was Richard, who was like he's pretty thin, right? He's like George, right? He's like a wire. And this guy was like he's a pretty big dude, like probably was like 35, 40 or whatever. I'd picked his ball up and like thrown it into the woods. For whatever reason, he got mad at him, and then he started fighting, like grappling with him. So I'm like, there's me and another friend of mine who did nothing, by the way. And I'm like, well, I've got to help. I'm not going to leave him there to get beat up. Yeah. I don't know anything about fight. I'm not like a hard ass. I don't know if you picked that up about me already. But so I ran down there, and I thought, like, as I'm running down, I'm kind of in my head, I'm like, right, what are we doing tactically here? Like, my legs are running, but I know I need to try and help defend him. And they're kind of grappling. So I thought, I'm like, what do I do? Do I try and like strike the guy, or like do I try and like tackle him, or do I just try and go in and push him apart? I'm like, nah, I'm not quite big enough because this dude was pretty big. Yeah. So I just kind of ran in there and I thought, stop. I think I said to him like, stop, maybe once or twice, and they didn't stop. So
stop.
Like, when you see people fighting, they've like got a hold of somebody and they're just punching him relentlessly, and that was kind of happening. So I thought, okay, I need to hit him to try and get him off my mate. And I kind of like, as I ran up, like he kind of saw me coming and I missed. And I've got a dodgy shoulder. Kind of luckily only temporarily kind of popped. Like, and I couldn't use it. And then but he then starts grappling me. And I'm like, we're playing golf, man. Who fights on a golf course? And then we kind of all like, you just realize what you're doing. Yeah. And I'm like, chill out, man. And he just kind of runs off. And I was like, what a weird interaction. I'm probably one of the 0.00001% of the population that's ever been in an altercation on a golf course.
I thought it just said you dislocated your shoulder, that you'd punched him so hard you dislocated it.
No.
You totally just missed.
I totally missed. It was like an air shot, man. I don't know how to punch people. If I was going to like get into if I was ever in a self-defense situation now, my go-to would be to kind of hold on to somebody, like try and use what little strength I have, and just hope they didn't, like they weren't like some black belt master of the arts like Josh. But yeah, back then I didn't know. I was just trying to help him, like you're trying to help your friends, don't you? And the worst part was like my other friend who didn't do anything, right?
What's his name? Call him out.
My other friend's called Aaron. Who's actually a lot bigger than me. So like but I just ran down. I thought I just need to help him, or I'm going to leave him there. That shows like the level of self-sacrifice.
What a brave man you are.
This also shows that as hard as he makes himself out to be,
what are you on about?
He does, doesn't he? He puts on a...
He always comes off worse.
I make no pretense about being tough or anything like that. Only when I'm talking to Josh.
Yeah. So what's it like being what's it like being the sister of this idiot then, who's had his rise to fame pretty miraculously this last couple of years has been immense, hasn't it?
This is really awkward. This is really uncomfortable for me.
What?
No, what's it like for you? Seriously, what's it like for you being the sister of BeardMeatsFood? Because like no doubt people know you are now, Sister Beard. You've got like your Instagram account. You've still got a real life and a real job.
Try capitalising on it. Oh yeah, Sister Beard.
No, because I thought because I have a lot of, so I've got my personal account, right, and people try to add me on. Have been trying to add me on there, so I thought I'd set up a separate.
You wanted to get a few new spangly tops from New Look.
No.
Market yourself as an influencer. I know what I'm on to you.
Nah. It's weird, because I vividly remember being sat in my living room and coming up with this idea that... No, not me coming up. Well, you know what? We actually did come up with the idea. Me and Scott...
No, why are you trying to... What's the story that I always tell?
You came up with BeardMeatsFood.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Clip it, George. Clip it.
We did.
No way.
Wait.
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. Go, Jen.
It's not true. So we were sat there and we were like, he's like, I've been dieting, and he'd always have like a cheat day, right? And he'd do something mammoth food challenge of something. And we used to watch, I'm allowed to say it, it's because it's like a rival thing, Man vs. Food.
I never used to watch that.
Well,
I don't know where you get that from.
So that's why I gave you the idea, because I watched Man vs. Food.
It wasn't my idea, but it wasn't Janet's idea. It was a husband's idea, Scott's idea. We actually had this conversation when we were hanging out at Christmas, and because I always tell the story, I'll say I'm at my sister's house, and Scott comes up with the name, and I'm like, that's cool. And I was telling him about this, and at Christmas, Jen's like, no, that was my idea. And
I came up with the name.
Every time I've told the story, I've mentioned your husband, or at the time your fiance, and we established at Christmas. I was like, oh, Scott, yeah, you did. And then you waded in and said, after like 12 beers, that was my idea. And Scott and I are both looking at each other like, no, I'm perfectly willing to give credit to the person that came up with it, but it wasn't you.
The irony, and Scott's an IP lawyer, right?
Yeah.
So he must, like, the irony of all this is, like, he must have a claim to your wealth now, surely.
100%.
He must have, like, a percentage in there.
Yeah, I think I could probably employ better lawyers than him. Good luck to him.
I've just thought of another really funny story now with like on Scott. So Scott is like very much like you, very chilled. It takes a lot to get him like angry, right? There was one day when so he was just he was doing his training contract, which is what you need to qualify as a solicitor. And he really, really wanted to do IP, right?
Yeah.
So he had to like do extra hours and stuff and do like work to get into that team. So
You talk about a Twitter thing?
yeah. So he is working his ass off to get into this team because he wants to qualify into that, right? So he starts working for this new boss in the firm that we both worked for and had managed to secure a 6-month seat in the team that he wanted. One day we sat, I don't know, we'd been out drinking and it was the night after, we'd stayed at mum's and he gets hold of Scott's phone while Scott's in the toilet, goes on Twitter and for all, it could have been anybody, but decides to tweet his new boss in the IP team.
Replied to a tweet from his boss.
What did you call him, a pleb? Was it a pleb?
It probably sounds like it could have been pleb, yeah. Or just like one of those, or gloit or something like that. Like one of those kind of colloquialisms.
But then Scott comes down from the bathroom, right? And Adam's like laughing, I've just hacked your Twitter and I've just replied to this guy. And Scott's like, oh, who? And he's like, he says this guy's name. And honestly, Scott's face, it looks like he literally could pass out, right? It's like, are you joking? And I was like, no, why? It's like, that literally is my boss. So we had to like come up with this ruse that Scott's account had been hacked. But actually it was him and you felt so bad. That's the only time I've seen him like actually feel guilt.
It's very rare that I actually feel guilt. It's rare that I feel guilt because I don't often do things wrong. But no, I because it was total chance because I just thought, I've got somebody's left the phone there, I'll just tweet somebody, not realizing that it was like, wow. Luckily it worked out though. He's doing well now. What does he work as now? Like
you could have destroyed his career though at that point.
That's so bad. How bad did you feel? Come on.
I felt really bad. Yeah, I'm not without feeling. I felt terrible. Yeah, I thought it wasn't one of those things that you think is funny at the time, but actually isn't funny. So he'd probably get me back one day, and he could just like take my phone.
He could tweet "fuck the goths." So you could cut that bit out now, Josh. Just saved your fucking house. You're fucking welcome there, son.
We should have brought some mead. This is fun.
Yeah, tell me about it. Look at him sweating. Like, just get me on that plane. Let me give it to Manchester Airport. Jesus Christ.
Man, I can't wait.
Right, have you got any more stories from childhood? Anything else you want to talk about?
There's nothing that's coming to the forefront of my mind right now. We had a good childhood. We've always been best mates, haven't we, really?
Yeah.
Why did you pause so much there?
That felt like a lifetime.
Was it a long? No. Well, I mean, there are a lot of people I know in life. Yeah, you probably are my best friend. Yeah.
Oh. If you ever get married, will I be your best woman?
No, I'd pick one of my actual friends.
Do you think you'll ever get married? Do you think you'll do it?
I don't know, because I feel like they've been saying that they're going to do it for ages. How long have you been engaged now?
I don't know. Get Mrs. Beard back on. When you get two of them, they could tag team.
Yeah, me and Lynn. So
just spend an hour slagging me off. Yeah.
There's this weird like YouTube narrative in the comments that because Linz and I have never been on a video together, that there must be some like family feud.
People think that they don't like them. If I said we were joking around on Christmas Day or maybe the day after or whatever, and I said if I broke up with Lindsay, you would choose her above me, like choose to keep her as a friend, and but that's not a lie. That's like she's been dead serious.
Yeah,
so they love each other, but which is kind of almost not. I kind of wish they hated each other in a way,
It's so weird, isn't it? Yeah, she's
not
like one of my very best friends. So like, but I think if it was up to Linz, they would do it.
Yeah,
I think he's the one that holds it back.
No, that's not accurate at all.
No?
I mean, I proposed A. And B, she's not that bothered about getting married. Like she's only recently started to mention it, which is fine. Like you don't propose to somebody if you don't want to get married. It's just, I don't know, like it's never really come up before. But like she said, can we get married at the end of this year? I was like, that's probably a bit soon, but like maybe early next year or something like that.
What was that last year? Or
No, that was like literally
this
like
year?
last week or whatever.
Oh, right, okay.
She meant like this coming
Yeah, 23.
year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, I only proposed because I knew that like I know the convention of marriage to her means something. It doesn't really mean anything to me. So I'd be there. I wouldn't be like there. Oh, I'm getting married. I'd be like, all right, I'm just stood here in front of a priest or a vicar or whatever, and that's it. It's not. I'm no more committed to Lindsay.
I get
because
that.
of a ring or a piece of paper or whatever. And if we broke up now, I'd probably give her half of what I've got anyway because it's hers.
Yeah.
She's put up with enough.
The side story to that is he didn't propose for that reason. He proposed because he couldn't think of another Christmas present. So he went out and got an engagement ring.
I've got a question for you. If you got married, would you wear the ring?
Yeah, of course.
You would wear the ring?
Unless it was like she got me like the wrong ring and it was like ludicrously restricted.
No, I don't wear a ring. I got married, but like I've never ever worn a ring.
That's pure dodgy, that mate.
I've never like. How can you go 25 years or whatever it was, 26 years, not wear a ring and be like, wear a ring? They're awful. I don't wear jewelry.
Oh, they feel bad. I've never worn a ring.
Oh, it's horrible.
Oh,
mate.
maybe I wouldn't.
Because you lift as well. You like.
What's your excuse?
Funny guy. Look how happy he is.
This has been a pure train wreck. Luckily, George, the first one was decent. So.
Right, so we've got some comments and it was some questions from the Patreons. Put it out to them yesterday.
God help us.
And I'll start rattling them off. So the first one's from Gregor Siwek, I believe it's pronounced. Who has the better singing voice, Beard or Sister Beard? Now, we've just found out from a professional.
We've objectively found that.
However,
in fact, I just messaged Matt saying Judas, so I wonder if he's replied.
I messaged him and said, right answer. He's like, you can pay me later. I was like, thank you.
Who do you think's got the better voice?
I think mine is probably the nicer one to listen to, but I think you've got more power.
Neither of us can sing. It's kind of
neither of us can sing.
Jenna can actually sing. Like with a bit of actual professional instruction, I think she could like record.
Yeah, because you were belting out stuff. I heard you singing a little bit before we started recording. You were dropping a few tunes.
I should say it's miraculous though that when she gets drunk and does karaoke, it's like she can't. Like that voice goes out the window and it's just shouting stuff.
It is just a shout, and I like Celine as well, which is a lot of power.
Yeah.
And it just, I mean, my friends have got a lot of
Celine,
videos of that happening. And
the
it's
Breaking Bread
terrible.
Christmas night out did never come to fruition. We need to have a night out, don't we?
That would be. I think he'd be just like more. Well, after the live show, he was.
Yeah, you were very quick to share some embarrassing stories about me, and I kept quite a lot to myself, including your the condition you were in on the Breaking Bread live show.
Yeah.
No, Adam, I'm just bombing in front of this line of 200 people who want a picture.
You know what?
Now get out of the picture. Get out now. Yeah, it's funny. Get out. Josh, can you security?
Security with me?
Yeah, I know.
Not very good security.
Talking about feeling bad though, I did cry that next day. I was like, I'm so sorry. I've let you down.
You are needlessly remorseful though. I was so drunk. Yeah, it was a good job you were drunk because otherwise the crowd would have been completely silent for the first 20 minutes. So.
Can we just say that like you guys stole the show that night? You, Mrs. B, and my missus just got absolutely bollocks. All best of friends.
This is why I want a night out, because
Yeah.
Danielle, your sister as well, absolute top quality.
We'll bring them all. We'll have a big Breaking Bread night
social
out.
that, honestly. But yeah, that were bad. And I think I drunk a full bottle of Prosecco on an empty stomach, which was only going to end one way. But I think like what summed it up is...
Empty stomach too is if you've not eaten for 20 minutes.
Shut up. Looking back at the photos, you know when you go in your camera roll and you've got that beer for you, and there's just one of me sat on the drums. Whose drums were there? I don't even know.
Mine.
Were they
George's
yours?
drums.
Oh my God, I'm so
Yeah, that's why I had to
sorry.
get a different drum kit for the video shoot, because you won't let me have that one.
I've got like my legs open like this and I'm thinking that I can do do-do-ch.
The worst part is I've seen that video. Like somebody put that in the chat, and you just sat there in the skirt, like with your legs wide open, like Sharon Stone, and you're just like, you got this goofy grin on your face, like, yeah, I don't know, my legs are wide open.
Yeah, you need next time wear trousers. All right.
Thank God I'd waited for everybody to leave the cinema before deciding that were a good idea.
You'd have been trending on Twitter. Right, next question. From Jamie Bork. What was Adam's most annoying habit when you were growing up?
Ooh, most annoying habit. You know what? It was probably the fact that he like would always throw me under the bus. Like, you know, if we like
Not literally.
no, but like if we were again wrestling or doing something stupid and broke an ornament, oh, he'd be like, you say it was you, Jen, it was you. And obviously being the younger sibling, I'm like, okay.
Because I knew that she was the favourite.
Yeah, clever.
I was playing the percentages there.
Mum's favourite, but not dad's. So, and you know,
No, I think you were both parents'
no,
favourite.
I wasn't, not dad's.
No. Fair
So
enough.
that, yeah.
Andrea Locke has asked, do you have any embarrassing stories about Adam growing up? Obviously, we've had one where he passed out after breaking a fingernail.
Oh, I'm trying to think of
That was. Ugh.
other embarrassing stories.
Yeah, please take your time. Yeah.
I can't really think of anything else.
No? Did he piss in a cupboard or a wardrobe or something?
That's a good
Oh,
one.
yeah.
That's a good one. That was 50 She could have got covered in my piss. I came back. I've been drinking gin, which is why, like, when you say if we were ever down, we've been down London a few times, and you're like, oh, let's have a gin. I'm reluctant to because
Not because I want to get pissed on. I didn't realise that was a
this was
consequence.
this is when we were both living at home, right?
Yeah.
So I would have been like, what, early 20s maybe 20, 21. And I'd gone out and just got battered. And if I ever have gin, like, it used to make me sleepwalk. Seriously, I don't know what it is about it. But like I sleepwalked out of my room and I thought Jenna's room was a toilet. So I walked in, like, she had kind of a long room and like her bed was on the left where you'd sleep and then the TV was on the right. And just by chance, I turned to the right and just like pissed all over the TV. You could have been woken up with an actual golden shower, you know?
Oh, my God.
That's not really embarrassing for me though. It's more, I suppose maybe it is.
That's
I don't know.
brilliant. It should be, but you're just dead inside. Next question from Knife Stories with Andrew. That's a strange name. How was it living with Beard when he was a teenager?
So I think we probably had a little bit of a rockier, relationship where we were like, you know, I was quite cool and a bit mainstream, and you were a bit like.
You had your Rockports and you listen to
Helly Hansen jacket. Get in.
That kind of
S Club 7. I was wearing like a hoodie, baggy jeans, and listening to Bob Dylan or whatever.
And then you were really like alternative and edgy and stuff. So. I think that was the only time really that we didn't spend a great deal of time together. But then you educated me and brought me over to
No, I think
the best way.
What precipitated was that you used to have an arsehole of a boyfriend who was like a massive chav, and then you broke up with him, but like all your friends were his friends. So that's when you started hanging, probably quite oddly. Not oddly, but like it's probably not conventional for like all my friends. Like you know all my friends very closely.
Yeah.
So that's probably what made us closer friends, I guess.
Yeah, you took me under your wing at that time. At that time,
I suppose, yeah.
And we went to the dry dock, and that was it. Best friends for life after that.
Oh, that's nice.
BFFs, yeah. Just occasionally got my head smashed into a radiator.
Lisa Garnon, would you like to be more active on YouTube, or are your little visits on Adam's channel enough for you?
Ooh, I think honestly, I live such a boring life. There's nothing that I could possibly like do on YouTube. I've got no talent. I'm really boring. So I just don't feel like there's anything that I could offer. Although I keep saying to Adam, like, how much money these like kids channels make, and Noah watches
She's
like
pure ruthless, man. She was saying to me, she was, what was it, the Wiggles or something else?
Some like Nastya or something, or Vlad and Nikki.
You were watching something and you were like, to be fair, the editing was absolute dog. But you were saying to me, you were like, oh, come over and do that with Noah so we can be millionaires. I'm like, what, so you can exploit your child to become a millionaire?
Savage.
Imagine working with like Noah, who's Jenna's son, is like, I don't know. I feel like he's the reason that like possession movies exist. You know, because he's a violent child. Right.
You can't call him a violent child. He doesn't just come over and like wallop you in face.
No, he wallops you in the nuts, and then like if you want to tell another story about me being reduced to tears, that happened at a family gathering. Like I was holding the door open, he'd hook me in the nuts, and like, I thought I was going to throw up. But yeah, I don't know where I was going with that. But yeah, imagine trying to like, hey Noah, could you do this, please? Can you be like, no, smash?
Yeah,
smashes the $4,000 camera.
He probably wouldn't be very compliant.
No,
to
and
be
plus,
fair.
I think that's a whole different wrong anyway. I think exploiting your kids for sorry for your kids to
Look
be
at
in
him
a
get on
video.
his high horse.
No, I
Make
genuinely
your money.
think that's true.
Make your money, man.
What did I say when we were watching that? I said, imagine what that kid's life is going to be like. They're not getting anything from
Yeah,
it. They
look
probably just wanna
at all
play.
the Disney child stars. Look, all, like Justin Bieber. Who's that fella that were in with Tom Hardy? Shia LaBeouf. He were a Disney character. Disney.
Yeah.
Was he?
Miss Miley Cyrus. Yeah, they were all Disney.
They all go a bit rogue.
They all go
don't they?
well rogue.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
They're probably doing all right for themselves though, no?
But they get paid like, so obviously with it being YouTube and stuff, they'll get like free holidays to like Disney and stuff. So like, you know,
You would
it's
be
not all
the worst,
bad.
wouldn't you? You'd be
All
like,
bad.
you'd be like 100% influencer. Like, yeah, give me a few of these
No.
free things and I'll sell them for you.
Definitely not.
Right, next question from Daniel Hunt. What is your best or most favourite memory with Adam as kids?
Best or most favourite memory? I mean, it's not. There's nothing real kind of stand out. But I think when we used to go to Alton Towers with mum and dad, and we used to stay at the Alton Towers Hotel and just.
That's not one of my stand-up memories, but like
What's your standout memory?
being kids, probably like that time he nearly got us killed. I think I've told this story before when we were on that hovercraft when we were on holiday. We were on that like little round boat and he nearly got us killed by a big ferry. Remember that?
You mentioned that like 2 weeks ago.
I had forgotten
Light
about that.
flashing before my eyes.
And I, under, that level of panic, I just lose my head. So instead of like trying to steer the boat, I just went, ah! And he had to like jump over my knee and like move it. Why would that be a good memory though? Nearly dying.
He didn't say it had to be a good memory, but it was, I think the fact that we avoided death, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. Right, it's the one from Thomas. We're not going to find out the answer to this, but who would win in an arm wrestle? Sister Beard or Beard? Do not arm wrestle. We've made a pact after I beat him.
I
There's no more.
retired him from arm wrestling.
So I was working over at Czech Republic and I was speaking to this lady and she basically told me that apparently it's a really common injury when you arm wrestle because we're all idiots and we just arm wrestle when we're drunk. That the pressure that goes through that your bone at the top there can cause like a severe spiral fracture. And her boyfriend had basically snapped his arm to pieces doing an arm wrestle with his mate. And it takes like years to recover. It ain't like, oh, we'll just bang a cast on it. So I said to him, I'm like, no more arm wrestling.
And knowing how fragile he is.
Exactly.
Now we've had these stories about shoulders popping and thumbs bending.
Although we know he's fit as a fiddle because he had a fist up his ass, so he's all right.
Didn't you have like
Oh, God, you're not going there, are you? You were going there.
I was just going to say you could tell we both got anal endurance because you thing you should never say about your sister. You just had a colonoscopy, didn't you?
I did have a colonoscopy and it was like really bad experience. So I'd say if you're ever getting one, don't go in between Christmas and New Year when the consultant was probably hungover.
Had a few too many sherries.
Oh no.
It went downhill from the beginning when he tried to shove the camera in the wrong place and nearly give me a second butthole. But anyway.
This is exactly how we wanted this podcast to go.
Honestly, it did get worse from there, and I was stupid enough to only have the gas and air and not get sedated, so I could hear everything he was saying. It was narrating the entire journey for me. Oh, I've lost it again. I was like, you've lost the camera up my butt? Like, what?
I thought I just haven't heard the story already.
What a life. What, I've got no questions for that. I don't want to know anymore. I'm out. Right, last one from Mark Kelly. What did you think when Adam started his channel and how does it feel to be recognised when you're out? Sort of covered it, but...
Yeah, I suppose when it started, I think it was those like little weird milestones, when you get your first like so many subscribers and stuff like that, and you're like, that's mad, like 1,000 people are watching you, that's crazy. And then I think to the level that it's got like now, blows my mind. So when we were coming back from the recording studio, we just stopped at a really like...
When I was supposed to buy a slap-up meal.
Yeah, he's like, I'll take you out for a really nice tea afterwards to say thank you. I'm thinking like steaks, beautiful cocktails. He's like, oh, but I need to charge my car, so shall we just go to a station?
WH Smith's
Yeah,
yeah.
it's exactly where we ended up, right? But we were just in there for like, 20 minutes? No, in the middle of nowhere, and like about 6 people come over and asking for a photo, and I'm like, it blows my mind. I mean, but bottom line, like just mega proud of him, like what he's achieved.
Thanks, we got there in the end. Thank you very much.
I'm really proud of what you do. I tell you all the time, like that I'm super proud of you. I do. I text you all the time and say I'm proud of you and what you've done.
Yeah, totally.
I'm just a bit, sad that when I'm doing filming and stuff, he never pays me for it. So.
Mate, you're
pro bono, mate.
The way that you get recognised in public is like mind blowing, isn't it? Like,
no, it is.
Because you're not a celebrity, like in the sense of like what mainstream, but you're probably more.
Don't really
famous.
offer anything the world, no. But
no, but like I was walking around Prague this weekend with that Paul Smith, and he got recognised once, and I said to him, I was like, if I were with Adam, even though we were in Prague, I think you'd get stopped every 5 minutes. I think that's how like recognisable and famous you are.
It's so mad.
We saw it in London. We see it anywhere we go now. Like.
It's crazy. Like we were eating dinner yesterday. We went out to a restaurant and like you just saw all like the waiters like looking at the phones and like, and then somebody by the end was like, real big fan of your channel.
He kind of whispered quite closely
Menacingly.
in my ear, like to the point that it was almost getting hairs on the back of my neck went up a bit. I was like, ooh. I was like, love your
Breaking
videos,
beard.
love your videos, Breaking beard. I mean, it's just that's what's nice. People watch what I do.
It's nuts, mate. Congratulations. We're proud of you as well.
Thank you.
Last section of the podcast, just to take it back down to earth. I believe
more.
that you've got a festival comment that you wanted to run through with us, and then we can call this a draw.
Have you heard this? Do you want to explain just in brief what festival is to Jen?
So festival is a Twitter account where people confess to the wildest shit.
Right.
But it's anonymous. So we've made a habit now just to read them out because they're horrendous.
Love this.
And they're really bad. Like, if you thought that the curdled semen were bad, like, these are a lot worse. So I don't know why people got offended by that. But Adam's found one who wanted to bring it up.
We haven't figured out if there's any, what's the word for it? There's any...
Authenticity, genuine.
Yeah, they're not really curated, I don't think, in any way to figure out if the person is being truthful or just making something up. But I managed to find one from... our late father, I think. It says here, when my daughter was born, my wife insisted we call her Jenna, which was one of the names I originally suggested. 20 years on, neither of them know the name was inspired by my favourite porn star of the time, something I deeply regret to this day.
You know what? I was wondering where that was going. I am named after somebody called Jenna from Dallas. And I think probably Jenna... the Jenna that you're referring to was not famous at the point I was born.
Don't know, mate.
Fake news.
That was a real festival, though. I didn't make that up.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I just saw it and I saw like the name.
Yeah.
I thought if you're going to get Jenna on the podcast, at least I can do is save that.
Well, that's that. You're the first guest of 2023. How was it? Yeah.
It was an honour, actually.
Yeah.
I've actually really enjoyed it.
Oh,
I think it's been an experience.
You've probably been the most relaxed person we've had on there, including people like that, Danny from Rate My Takeaway and even Randy. Like, do you have a few liveners before you came, or are you perfectly sober? I was thinking because it's normally you have to brief everyone, don't you, and make them feel at ease. Maybe it's because you were related.
I think, we're related. We've spent quite a lot of time together over the past couple of weeks, months.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's just like mates having a chat. What is there to be nervous about? And anything that went wrong, you can edit.
Yeah, like George's comment. Timestamp that, George. Right, that's it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
The best guest of 2023.
Woo!
I'm Ric Flair. I'm off to Tennessee now. I'll see you in a few weeks.
Bye.
Peace.